Well, good morning, everybody. This is my very first ever YouTube video, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about me later. I have recently bought myself a Porsche Boxster, but I am here today at my first ever trip out to a Porsche Club Great Britain Porsche Rally. And to be honest with you, I'm absolutely amazed at the turnout today. I've not attempted to count the cars that are here today, but I think there were 300 expected, and I thought that was probably a bit optimistic when I saw the media hype. But I tell you something, we aren't going to be far off at this rate, and we have got a fabulous array of lovingly cared for and cherished Porsches. We're in Cromford Meadows in Matlock, which is about 8 miles from where I live in Derbyshire. Beautiful part of the world, and I bought my Porsche Boxster almost exactly 1 year ago, and when I've done this little circuit of the first row of cars on display, I'm going to take you to mine specifically and tell you a little bit more about it. But I'm just going to do one full circuit first of the cars on display, and this full circuit then will take me back to where I'm parked, and I'll talk a little bit about my choice. So as I say, I've had my Porsche Boxster for 1 year exactly. In the past I've had sports cars. I've owned 2 MGs. I had an MGF 1.8 VVC for a couple of years. Loved it, lovely car. Actually quite regretted selling it. It was a deep navy blue with a cream leather interior, and I'd always wanted a car for a nice summer day so we could get the top down and enjoy the nice weather, and that fulfilled that. But I did let it go. I felt I wasn't using it enough. It was a bit of a luxury with a young family. But then I got the bug again, and I bought myself a MGTF, dark grey metallic, just a 1.6 basic one. Again, just to enjoy the summer, and again, thoroughly enjoyed it. Lovely, nippy little car. I know they're notoriously unreliable, head gaskets and things like that. Plus, of course, the terrible English build quality, which is a problem, you know, that things do drop off them and break. So I'd fancied for a long while trying something a little bit different. And I think we've got Boris Johnson here. Look, is that Boris Johnson? Looks like Boris, doesn't it? Okay. Didn't know Boris Johnson owned a Porsche. So I knew that stepping up to something like this would be a totally new experience. And but I was worried about the cost of ownership. You know, what if it went wrong? The dreaded IMS bearing. Because I always do a lot of research before I buy, and you read things like that and you start to think that, you know, is this a good idea? But anyway, I looked around and did my research, and this is why I'm starting my YouTube, to be honest, because the amount of information I've gathered off YouTube before I bought cars has been so invaluable that I thought it might be quite nice to give back a little bit. And share my experience. So thanks to the people on here, I looked around and I saw one advertised at a garage in Stoke-on-Trent, which is about 50 miles away from where I live, and looked a beautiful example, and I got in touch with the garage and I bought it cold. The very first time I've ever bought a car cold. I bought it purely from the photographs I saw, talking to the dealer, and also from chats with my next door neighbour, who is an engineer, heavily into his cars, has owned supercars in the past, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Porsches. He's got a Porsche 911 at the moment, and asked for his advice, and he encouraged me to take the plunge. So I put a deposit on this car, and on the basis that when the dealer delivered it, if we were happy and it checked out the way he told us it was, that we would pay the balance. And I got my next door neighbour, the engineer, to do the test drive for me. So I didn't even drive it either until I'd parted with the money. I got him to drive it, check it out, and he gave me the confidence that it might not be a bad thing to do. So I'm just coming up to mine now, and I believe the colour is called Carmine Red. She's actually the only one here today in this colour. Now, she is a 1998 Boxster, so she's 23 years old. I'm sorry I shouldn't say she, should I, because it's a bit sexist in this day and age, but I'll stop doing that immediately. So my Boxster, 1998, 2.5 litre, flat six, and what really impressed me about this was that the first owner, well, when I bought it, it had only done 39,000 miles from new. The first owner apparently was a guy in Edinburgh, and he had had the car for about 15 years and did 17,000 miles in it, so it must have been a kind of Sunday car or a occasional take to work car. It then spent a couple of years in Wales, and somebody did some serious mileage. They did kind of 10,000 miles a year and put 20,000 miles on it, and then it ended up with a lady, I believe, and it seems to have spent its life in a garage doing very, very little. So when I took delivery, it had done 39,177 miles. As you can see, it's in pretty damn good condition. It had, and the dealer told me very honestly, it had one little dent in the back rear quarter light, and I've had that fixed since. The dent knocked out and resprayed, so it's now looking pretty perfect. The guy that resprayed it for me did point out to me that the front lower skirting at the front is a little bit sad, and the paint is peeling, and he suggested that I probably get that attended to, so I think I will. I'm sure there are a few scratches and scrapes, so I think that could be improved. So with its proper plate on, this is an S registered car, so I got that changed. Anyway, in the first year of ownership, I have done just under 1,000 miles. It now sits on something like 39,954 miles or something like that as of today. So what has my first year of ownership been like? Well, although everything seemed to check out okay, I suppose that the first nerve-wracking thing was the first MOT, and that happened 2 weeks ago. And I'm absolutely delighted to say that all it needed was a light bulb in the back, a new offside wiper blade, and that was it. There were 2 advisories about tyres being a little bit cracked on the edges, but that was it. So I'm now going to my second year of ownership, and you know, so far I've spent £43 on an MOT and a couple of bits. What's it like to drive? It is incredible to drive compared to anything else I've ever owned before. It is fantastic. The acceleration, I think the official figures are something like 0 to 60 in just under 6 seconds, capable of 149 miles an hour top speed. But you know, if you do want to overtake or get out of a tight spot, then you've got no trouble whatsoever. And the hum of the engine when we get to about 3,000 revs is just something absolutely sweet. So I tend to use this as just as my summer car, and I take it out on a nice summer's day with the top down. Occasionally might use it for work if it's a nice sunny day and I'm working local. Miles to the gallon, so far I'm getting about 26 miles to the gallon. I'm putting premium fuel in it, which I've decided to do, read a lot of things on here about what fuel to put in it, and decided that premium fuel might be a good idea. So on a tank of premium fuel, I'm getting about 26 miles to the gallon, which I don't think is too bad whatsoever. So what I'm planning to do is, as I say, to give back a little bit to the people who've given me so much in helping to make my decision. I'm going to post regular updates on here and of my Porsche experience, and let you know the good and the bad. It will be going for a first service at some time in the near future, I'm quite sure. It had a full service history when I bought it, including mainly main dealer, but some non-main dealer. I've already sourced a couple of non-main dealers, Porsche specialists in my area. We've got one at Long Eaton near Nottingham, south of Nottingham, junction 25 on the M1, and I've found another one now at a place called Calverton in North Nottinghamshire. Again, a Porsche specialist dealer. So that's where I'll be going when it comes around to service time, and I will let you know how my Porsche journey goes and what it does cost me to run. And but so far so good. And the dreaded IMS bearing, when I phoned one of these local dealers and said, just bought a Porsche, what about the IMS bearing, he actually said to me, he said, I wouldn't worry too much if I was you. He said it's overhyped on the internet. So he said, don't worry about it. And apparently my model in particular is not quite as unreliable in terms of IMS as some of the others. So, as I say, first ever YouTube video. If you think you will find this useful and follow my Porsche journey, then please do like this and subscribe. My name's actually Phil Wass. I'm here with my son today, and we're now gone to, they've actually already started double and triple stacking at the back here. There are so many people attending, so we're going to have a wander around now and see what's going on. Get a cup of coffee from over here and a bacon cob maybe, and enjoy the rest of our day. And I hope you will follow me and find these useful. So that's me. I'm signing off for now at the end of my very first YouTube video. Hope to see you on here again very soon.